Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Sam, do you I'm clocking you again. Do you realize you say the same thing every time we start recording?
I just don't even know what to say because you
Hello.
started off, and so I'm like, I feel like that one. Have you seen Drew Barrymore do her talk show host stuff?
I don't see I only see like the TikTok clips of her like crying and holding people's hands and
Yes,
being
I feel like
adorable.
you give Drew Barrymore, and I give the guest that has no idea what is going
That's so funny.
on. I'm
Um,
waiting for you to hold my hand, and we
but
cry.
that's like literally a lie. Like you come like so prepared every week. Like you know what you want to talk about. It's just the second I press record, you make it seem like I'm like this big boss in charge or something like
I'm
that.
like,
Like,
didn't we just cover this in our business meeting over this? Come on.
yeah, like girl, but
Our business meeting at Merit Coffee.
our business. Oh my God, speaking of, I haven't finished my coffee. Happy Sunday, everyone. This will be
Happy
coming out on
Sunday.
Monday, but it is Super Bowl Sunday, and as you may or may not know, Sam and I have Sundate every Sunday, and it's just like when we, see each other every Sunday morning.
When
And we
we
went to
kiki.
Merritt, when we kiki, when
When we
we gossip,
kiki.
when we recap the week, when we, like everybody in the coffee shop it always is probably like either I want to be them or I want them to leave because what like these psycho bitches like haven't caught up for air. They just like keep talking.
It's
So
literally
yeah.
like that meme going around where it's just a picture of drinks, and it's like the picture that we posted and then the vibes we bring, and it's always like a Theo Vaughn where he's just the most unhinged person possible. That's
Yes.
probably our day to day.
Yeah, that's our life.
That's our Sunday.
And that's our Sunday. That is our Sunday. Absolutely. Well, we have got per usual 4 podcasts. We're gonna recap this week that have either shook pop culture, shook us, or just like make for great fun conversation. But before we kick off, Sam has recapped the Severance podcast like a couple of weeks
Oh
ago.
my God.
And if you listen to that episode, highly recommend. If you don't know, Severance like has like a recap podcast you can listen to after each episode. And I this week finally started Severance,
So
and
good.
oh my God. Oh my God. It is okay. My 3 favorite shows of all time: The Handmaid's Tale, Stranger Things, and Severance. And they all have in common the same thing like
Severance is on your
dystopian.
list now?
Severance is seriously on my list. It is
I
that
knew it.
good.
Oh my God, it's in my top 5 too. I
I'm
just can't.
surprised you like it. It's pretty like
I know.
dark and twisted. I feel like you like rot things. You don't like
I
things that make
do.
you think.
I do, but I guess I would surprise you because Breaking Bad is one of my top 5 too.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've seen the recent, oh my God, I'm everything I say. Have you seen the trend? Have you seen the trend? Whatever. But everyone is if I had amnesia and I had no idea what was happening, rewatch certain things. Breaking Bad would be something I would rewatch. And same with
The
Severance.
yeah, the thrill to be able to rewatch like one of those shows for the first time. I feel
So
that way
good.
about Handmaid's Tale, Stranger Things, and Severance for sure. So, but I'm upset because I'm all caught up, and Sam and Josh, the new season 2 dropped, and they're waiting to binge watch. They're waiting for all the episodes to come
Okay,
out.
don't group me in with that man. He made that decision, and I unfortunately have to, being married, have to support that decision.
You literally don't have to. Like I am
I
like
want to watch it so bad. It's 4 episodes, right? Have been released?
4 episodes
Or
have been released.
4 have been released. Okay.
I
Yeah.
need to talk about the 4th episode that just dropped on Friday with you. Like
God, don't say
I'm
that.
seriously like I like okay. I
Do
would have
not ruin it
normally
for me. Do not ruin it for me.
I'm not no, I'm talking shit about your husband right now.
Oh,
Like
yeah, yeah. Always. Yeah, yeah.
I love Josh, but this is like seriously made me take a step back.
Red
I'm not
flag.
gonna lie.
You should really set a boundary with him.
Like it's almost gonna like affect our relationship. Like, do you realize this? It's gonna
I
affect our friendship. The
I
fact that
need to. I need to
your man
watch
is
it.
controlling you and not letting you like
I know. And you know what's so funny is every single person I've ever convinced to watch it has been like, absolutely love it. Even right off the bat, the first episode gets you hooked of the first season. My
yeah.
mom, I went and saw her a week ago, and she goes, I don't like aliens.
Brandy, if you're watching, Give it another. I thought the first 2 episodes were pretty slow. Give it another shot. I understand what she's getting at, though. I absolutely get it.
Yeah.
No, it's
Yeah.
so good. It's
It's so good.
unbelievable. Oh my
It's
God.
just like too close to reality because it really makes you think like, would I don't know, I haven't seen the second season, but like the
Yeah.
first season, we literally our whole conversation was like pros and cons of doing it. And like in the
I
first
would
season, they
never.
have protesters, right? They have the
Yeah.
flyers and things like that. And it's just like, oh God, it's so well directed and written, and you just
The
never know what's going to happen. And the plot twists are actual reasonable plot twists. I hate when
yeah.
shows do something random and you're just like, where did that come from?
The Easter eggs, like it's one of those shows you can't just watch the episode. Like you can't be phone has to be in the other room. You have to be locked in because
Yep.
you will miss something. And now being all caught up, I'm obviously on Severance Reddit and TikTok. And
Yes.
I am like
Always happens. Yep.
some of the things that I now know like are now a part of the plot. People are like, I knew that was going to happen because in this episode in season 1 they planted the seed, and I'm like, how did you connect those dots? It's insane. But you're right, there's no like crazy plot twist that you're like, oh, the directors just came up with that. Like
Yeah.
they have let us know what's going to happen from, I feel like, every episode. It's
Yes.
beautiful. It's beautiful.
It's so beautifully written. And the
Yeah,
fact that Ben Stiller was like a director for some of the episodes, I still am
no,
baffled. Like,
he is like the director. He is
it's
like
for season 2 now, he is? Because I remember
Yeah.
in the podcast they were saying he was like kind of 5 episodes for season 1.
Well, I think it's kind of how like with a lot of shows, like there's people help direct and
Yes.
produce, but like he's
Yeah.
very much a part of the franchise. If you
Yes. I mean, absolutely. If you're a Severance fan, the podcast, I think I'm going to do that when I rewatch it, is listen to the podcast episode per episode, because I love behind the scenes stuff. And the fact that you can tell everyone loves acting on this show.
Yeah,
Every
they're
single
in it.
actor has so much love, and oh God, it just makes it feel so like so special. I love the
It's
show.
so special. It's unreal, and it would be so much more special if I could fucking talk about it with my best friend. But
I'm
whatever.
sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm ready to get into it.
Let's do it. Okay, tell me your
okay.
podcast that you have this week. What is the vibes?
So this is like a little bit of a look back. I know we skipped recording last week because we both had just like a lot going on.
You can just say it. I crashed out.
You crashed out. Yeah, you totally did. I am gonna cover New Heights. It was the episode that they dropped right after the AFC Championship when they found out the Chiefs were going to the Super Bowl. So yeah, it's
fun.
New Heights. Travis goes back to the Super Bowl. Jason decides who to root for and living the sweet life. And then I'm gonna do the Call Her Daddy Rachael Kirkconnell. I was blindsided interview. What about you?
So I kind of went a different route. After my crash out, I needed podcasts that would like change my mindset. And so
Totally.
I went back to Date Yourself Instead. We both really liked the episode that I covered at the beginning of the year. So I went back to her, and it's how to live an abundant mindset in 2025. And it says like dash, they'll always come back. And I was like, ooh, hey, what is that?
That's good.
And then the other one is With Intention with Cami Sophia, Big Sister Chats, Routines, Friendships, Breakups, and Healings. And I actually follow her on TikTok. She's a Pilates princess. I had no idea that she had a podcast. So I was really excited to see that. I went the opposite. You went pop culture. I went self-help, mental breakdown.
And I love that. We need a mix of both.
Yeah.
Do you want to start with one of them?
Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna start with Intention with Cami Sophia, the Big Sister Chats episode.
Cool.
I did want to just touch on certain things. Obviously, when you go into self-help podcasts, you are doing it for selfish reasons. Something is going on in your life. At least that's for me.
Yeah.
That's really when I look for it. And so I like podcasters that don't just go with the obvious, because I feel like a lot of us have a good foundation, but when we look for the stuff, we want a change, something actually serious, right? And so something that she started the podcast with was a quote that said, "Don't let today be the day that you fail or give up." And I've never heard that quote before. I don't know if it's a popular quote, but it actually came to me when I was having a rough day. And I actually received good news that day. And so it was just kind of a reminder that your day to day might not be amazing right now, but if you set yourself up with self love and discipline, so it was like 20 minutes, but in order to show self love, you have to have discipline. And I I think
Oh yeah.
both you and I were talking about like on our Sunday, like sometimes it's really easy to forget who you are. And that's like a very generic saying. And I went out of town and I met up with my girlies and went back to my college town. And it's not necessarily like going to your roots, but it was like, wow, I was so confident back in the day. And as an adult in my
Yeah.
late 20s, mid 20s, late 20s, my confidence looks different. And I needed a reminder to take care of myself and to show discipline. And so I came back and I looked into ChatGPT and I had it make me a schedule of like my workout, my diet, how I eat, and also just how I live my day to day. Because I feel like the past couple months, I was just letting life happen.
You were letting life happen because life was like
lifing.
putting you with your job. Like sometimes you let life happen and sometimes you like take control of your life. But well, like so true that self-love and discipline go hand in hand. Like you cannot have any self-love if you are not like disciplined in like who you are as a person and what you owe yourself and like what you owe this life. Like having a routine, sticking to it, making promises and committing goals to yourself and actually going through with them. Like it is so true. You cannot have self-love if you don't have discipline.
And I needed that reminder. Like, how do you expect to attract people that love themselves, love you if you don't even have that same feeling for yourself? And so I needed that little reminder, but
a reminder, and it pushed
so
you. That's like the best thing about a self-help podcast is like you listen to something and it's like, oh, let me take like a tiny little actionable takeaway, went on ChatGPT, prompted it, and like to give you a good schedule. Like that's amazing. That's some like
it was beautiful.
That's great. I love that for you.
Anyways, after my crash out of yelling at Josh, I need to hear this Call Her Daddy episode. I didn't listen to it because I wanted you to recap it for me. I really
Yeah, I got you. Have you ever been into the Bachelor Bachelorette franchise? Like did you passively watch?
I actually know someone on the newest season. Carolina,
she's
so amazing. Love her. She's a very sweet person. No, I actually never could get into it. I hate to be that person, but the whole premise is just weird to me. Like you're dating and then like literally your last date is a proposal and like that person is fighting over if they're proposing to you or a different person. And it's okay. If it works out, it's okay. Like great. But I feel like everyone has this complaint that the later seasons are more focused on people that just want promotion, clout,
and to be famous,
whatever it is.
So when Rachael and Matt's season, which Rachael was on, it was different. They did not end in a proposal or an engagement, and that kind of shook production because it's like that's the whole thing of it is like you're going for that proposal. And I think it was like they were both on the same page of like it was a green flag for them. It wasn't a red flag where Rachael was like, he didn't propose to me. He was like, I want to do this with you. I'm committed to you, but like, let's see life on the outside. And then hindsight, is always 2020. It's like, oh, interesting. But at the time, I think it was a good decision for them. But I used to absolutely love this franchise. It, to me, is one of those shows I only ever got into once I had roommates. So when I moved into my sorority house, when I lived in Pi Phi, and then all the years after when I had roommates, it was just like the perfect thing you get together with your girls and watch. And then after Pilot Pete's season, I was like, I'm out. This franchise, it just absolutely ruined the entire franchise for me. Like his behavior, his mother's behavior, the show's behavior, I was over it. But anyways, I adore Rachael and Matt. They have completely like tried to take themselves away from the franchise and like become their own. And so like I enjoy their content as content creators.
I knew their season and I knew all that ended just because of social media. I never watched it all, but I actually knew Matt from his content posting of TikToks. I didn't know it was him. So I would see like
Yeah.
him post a food review
Yeah.
and I never like really look at
Yeah.
the usernames. And so I did not recognize the face. I just didn't put two and two together, but
Yeah.
I had a couple videos of his saved into like my little like food to try and blah blah blah. And like
Oh, to
yes.
try,
So
yeah. He's a great
yes.
food content
Yeah. I
creator
loved
for
it.
sure. Well, and he's friends with like my husband, Tyler Cameron. I shouldn't say that. He's like in a happy relationship. But like I will forever. He was on Hannah Brown's season, and Matt was like not a part of the Bachelor Nation except for being known as like a friend of Tyler Cameron. It was really interesting how he came on the show. So basically, the premise of Rachael going on Call Her Daddy is because Matt James posted the most random Instagram post. It was a photo of them when they first met outside of the famous, the famous resort you go when you're on The Bachelor, Bachelorette, of them meeting for the first time and him announcing like their breakup in like a caption that read so like cold is not the right word, but so not Matt. It was really shocking. We know he's like religious. He had, like a Bible quote in there, and it was just like it was so weird. And it shook the internet. I remember literally where I was in like looking at my phone being like wait, huh? Like I was like
I
I
saw
couldn't believe
people
it. Did you
posting that
see
he was
it?
hacked. I was on the opposite, like all these like content
Yes.
creators, like he was hacked. Like this is such a cryptic, weird post. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
cryptic. That's the
So I
perfect
did
word.
see
Yeah.
that, and
Yeah.
I just remember being like, "What is happening?" So I actually went and looked up
Yeah.
Rachael and Matt because I don't follow them,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
oh god, yeah, I saw the
It was
post.
weird. So, yeah, Rachael comes on to call her daddy, and not much time has passed between the breakup. I feel like a lot of public celebrity, more like content creators and influencer breakups have come out, or like kind of pop culture, like Paige and Craig. Like, we've kind of gone through a lot of
Yeah.
like breakups in the last month, I would say. And, it was one of those things where it's such a conversation of like, I wanted time to grieve through this breakup before the public, like, allow me to grieve this with my friends and family before the public knows. And that was, I think, what shook everyone is like Rachael didn't have that opportunity because Matt basically posted that within hours of them breaking up. So I highly recommend listening to the interview. I have just like a couple thoughts. I'm not going to get into the total interview and like what they talked about. They gave great background on who Rachael was, why she came on The Bachelor, and the relationship up until the breakup and a little bit post breakup. All I want to say is like, I love both of them, and I need the internet to stop having to have a fucking team in every breakup. Team Rachael, Team Matt, Team Paige, Team Craig, Team Blake, Team Justin. Like, not everybody has to be a villain in every story. Stop projecting your relationship insecurities onto other people. Like, it's really telling. I want you to come on. I know these people are like open to public scrutiny, right? Like they put themselves online, they put themselves on TV, they put themselves on a national broadcast. But hey, you internet trolls, I would like you to come and give me background on your past relationship. And I want your partner, your ex, to do that as well. And I would like to choose what team I'm on if we're going to play it that way. I'm coming in so hot because I am so
You
upset
literally
about it.
give like Tree
The
Payne vibes. Like this is exactly what I imagine Tree Payne's like thought process whenever a scandal breaks out.
Thank you so much. That is literally the best compliment anybody could ever give me. So all of that to say, I think Rachael had a couple of really interesting points. Is that there was kind of a talk about a power imbalance, but it was not Matt projecting a power imbalance. It's the power imbalance of the Bachelor Nation relationship. There's one person who's dating all these people who is in the power. They're in the control. They choose who gets the rose, who is going home. And Rachael said that little thing just followed their relationship when they were on red carpets. Matt James and Rachael. And it was like Matt never made her feel that way. It is just the power imbalance. When the woman is the season where she's then dating all the men, that probably follows their relationship where she's more of the power imbalance. And so she just said basically the common thread of what she had to say throughout the interview is like she has deep rooted insecurities. She got in a huge cancellation at the end of her season, and that followed her. And I just don't think they were compatible at the end of the day. She had a quote where she said, they would get into maybe an argument and he would give me space. And Alex asked her, "Did you want space?" And she said, "No, I didn't want space," but he gave her space. Like, I just don't think they necessarily understood what each other wanted at the end of the day in a relationship. And so, yeah, I'm really excited for Rachael and where this breakup is going to take her, because I think after a breakup, both her and Matt, I think, are going to go on to do great things. But like, I need us to stop posting all these videos of like even Craig, like, not to make this about Paige and Craig either, but like they're going back into seasons of Southern House being like, "See what Craig said? This is like a huge red flag." It's like, are people not allowed to just like be human and say things like,
Taylor, when I'm famous, I'm literally going to hire you as my PR manager. I just will never make public appearances. Just send you to talk about my life.
I got you. I'm tired of like two things not being able to be true. Like, Matt had his downfalls. Rachael let her insecurities, probably affect the relationship too. And like, that's okay. Stop
I think
choosing
it's so hard too,
sides.
because me and Josh came to the realization. So we're watching Real Housewives of Atlanta right now. And I mean, we always make this joke every reunion, but it's like, imagine your entire life is on TV. You're good, you're bad, your scandals, all the things. You have to sit in a reunion, watch them after you've probably come to terms. I mean, sometimes in these reunions, they're ready to go to battle. But like sometimes,
yeah, but like months have gone by,
yes,
you've come to
but
terms.
sometimes they like literally came to terms with it, and then they watch it again and they're like, "Oh my God, now I have to be upset about it because it's right in front of my face. I'm watching it again." And so I did want to touch on that, because you're saying like people, I have seen, like I said before in the podcast, I've never watched Summer House. But for some reason, Paige and Craig are coming up on my For You page, and it's the same thing. People are analyzing their relationship, posting moments for Paige, posting moments for Craig, all the things, yada yada. And then I'm sure, like with Matt and Rachael, I mean, I haven't seen Bachelor stuff for them, but I've seen their content. And I saw someone posted like he's a narcissist because in this TikTok that he posted, this was the reaction, right? And I do think you bring up a good and interesting point. Like, it's so easy to look at these people and be like, "Wow, they suck," or like this video, never a fan again, blah blah blah. But like, I think of myself, I have crashed out at the airport when it was like 4 a.m. with Josh, full on fight, just because he like looked at me weird. Okay, I know I'll get canceled for that. Like, and so I do empathize a lot. And like, same with actors and actresses. Like, we don't see their actual real lives unless it's like red carpet interviews and things like that. And so it's hard to really base if you know these people, or like if you can defend them, or you don't have to defend them, X, Y, and Z. Like, yeah, it's definitely a hard thing, but it's also, scandal makes the world go round. It really does. That is how pop culture is really embedded in now. Like, I know.
I love it at the end of the day. Like, it's true. But yeah, people, my last comment to wrap it up is like, yeah, even someone like you saw like this huge, I just think we saw the insecurities Rachael had. She talked about it. So I can't say we saw, but she voiced and came on Call Her Daddy, a huge platform, and talked about her insecurities in the relationship, not because of Matt, insecurities she just had. And a lot of it came from this public cancellation of her. And now we're turning around and doing that on Matt. Like, hey guys, we saw how it affected her. Like, people calling Matt a narcissist, I need people to, like, we need to start taking the definition of words so much more seriously as a society, and not just throwing out the word narcissist, because like, I think that's like incredibly damaging to when someone is actually a genuine narcissist.
Yeah.
It's an actual like mental health disorder. Like, can we like go back to like the actual definition of a narcissist? It's not Matt James. So yeah, I I don't know. That's all that to
I
say.
think
But
that's a good segue into my next one. They always
let's hear
come back.
it.
Because who
Ooh,
knows what's going to happen with that relationship? We don't know them. Ha ha ha.
we
But it
don't.
did talk
Yep,
about
yep.
like you have to be expansive. And that means like you tell yourself what matters and what has power, but you have to be open to like new things and also be so sure of yourself to invite the good into your life. So,
Yeah,
you have to think of the fact that you are leasing abundance and power. You are confident in your vision, your purpose. And I think we talked about that for our New Year's resolutions. Um, but you want to surround yourself with people that have the same vision and same perspective. And like you have to realize what you want, right? I definitely loved this because it helped me reflect. And we were talking a little bit about this at Sunday too. But
hmm,
it was so funny because it made me reflect on the fact that I have good memories with some people, but unfortunately we just didn't have the same vision and same perspective. And so I never felt
yep,
fulfilled. I could do a
yep,
fun, game night or whatever it is. And the concept is there. It's supposed to be fun. We got takeout, whatever it is, right? But I didn't feel fulfilled. And it was because the people that I was with didn't have the same perspective as me and didn't have the same vision. And so it doesn't necessarily mean that
yep,
they're the villain, I'm the villain, whatever it is. I would have never felt fulfilled. And it took me a while to
yeah.
understand. And like literally, this podcast clicked it into place because I was like, wow, that kind of gives you closure. It, it,
Oh my God, it's the
it
perfect
gives you
closure.
such good
We
closure.
were talking about exactly this on
Yes.
Sunday. Like, that's crazy. It's like, I think that's why you and I have gotten so close, despite, like, in the grand scheme of things, like, I think of all of our friends in our friend groups, like, we're the most
Mhm.
new friendship, but we are on, like, the same vision. I feel like it's not like the end destination is, like, the exact, like, apples to apples. It's like apples to
Yeah.
oranges, really, but it's like, at least like we're going up, like
We just have the
I don't know,
same
we're going up like the
perspective.
same
Yeah.
mountain, but like we have the same perspective. And hot take, I don't think you can be friends with someone and have this
Yeah.
different perspective. Like, not perspectives isn't maybe the right word, but I think maybe it's more like
Yeah. Yeah.
values. Like, I think it's the values, and it's like that is why you and I have reflected on just some people in our life that it's like I'm unable to get very close with them because we just see the world so
Mhm.
different. We have such different values of what matters in a friendship, of what we care about, how we show up for each other. Not to just like steal your
Yeah.
thunder, but
No.
like I feel like this podcast episode it's so true, and it's so it's really good because it's like I think we go so much in our, especially our younger
Mhm.
20s, like taking it really hard and difficult when it's like, why am I not friends? And I've gone through this. I went through some friendship breakups where it was just like, why are we
Yep.
not clicking? And it's because we have just such
Yep.
different
And it's
values.
hard to like
It's
when
not
you're
gonna
in the
work.
moment, you're like, "Oh, yikes, like everyone does it. Self-reflection, reflection of the group or friendships or whatever it was. And I like really needed and like re-listening to or re-looking at my notes. I'm like, wow, why did I just forget that this week alone? Like it was such a good
Yeah.
episode to be like, it is okay. And
Yep.
it also gives you reflection too, like on maybe that friendship even now, it wasn't what I really thought it was, and that's okay. And like it
Totally.
goes down to the core value, right? I have friends that I've been friends with since childhood, and it's just value, core value. And I've like same with you, like I feel like the same level of friendship. Like I've known you since I was 5 or whatever it is, but we have the same
Yeah.
value. We have the same connection. We still have the same journey together. And I think that's what's so
Yep.
important is really realizing, are you enjoying their company or are you enjoying the event? Right? You can go on TikTok and see all these cute events and things going on, and you might want to be a part of that, but like really think about who you're surrounding yourself with and what you are inviting.
Yeah.
Because you, like, it was really nice to hear it is okay to crave power and abundance, and like, because power gets like a connotation, right? You can't have too much power, you can't have blah blah blah. But it was kind of nice to be like, no, you want to have power, you need to have power in your life, and in order to thrive in any of these friendships, to have abundance, you have to have power. And it was so good.
You have to have power to design your life. Like you are literally the only person in control, unless, you know, you believe in a higher power, are religious, or you know, something
Yeah.
along those lines. Like even then, like maybe they have like they predestined and they know how your life is going to go, but like you at the end of the day are in the driver's seat, and that power, yeah, should not have a negative connotation.
It's
Like
so
absolutely.
good.
Oh, that's a
Yes,
good
yes. So I
one.
figured that matches
Oh.
in with Rachel's perspective too, because it literally was what you were saying. Like, they thought they were happy, they thought they were doing this, this, and this, but when it came down to it, they just didn't align. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Completely, completely. And that's okay. Everything, you know, you're in someone's life for a reason, season, or
Mhm.
lifetime. I stand by those words wholeheartedly. So, well, being in someone's life for a reason, season, or lifetime, let's talk about the lifetime of Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, because it is Super
Yes.
Bowl Sunday. By the time this comes out tomorrow, we'll know who wins, Eagles or Chiefs. I'm a Chiefs fan. I have been a Chiefs fan like when I feel like the, you know, the true like iconic, you know, the kingdom, the long lasting, you know, just like I don't know what they're
Taylor,
creating, you know, was starting.
do
I girl, what
do
I all
you
of that to say
do
is
you know what my household is?
I have
We're
absolutely no
Eagles
idea now.
fans.
Well, okay, you're not an
I
Eagles fan.
am.
Don't act like you've been an
I
Eagles
am.
fan.
I am a bandwagon fan
Girl,
because of Jalen Hurts.
can you okay, you're a
I
perfect.
love him.
All of that to say, I am okay with like the Chiefs like losing because I've seen how Taylor is when Travis wins, but like I kind of want to see what would happen if they
Really
lose.
test the
Like, how is
relationship.
she gonna ever? Yes, exactly. Even though I believe that they're married and they literally already have like a secret child together. Anyways, so that's all speculation. Okay, so this episode, I'll keep it quick, but basically it was they had a little segment where the interns came in because the AFC Championship was on the 26th and the interns
Oh,
went. And it
fun.
was the first time they were going to be in the Kelsey suite, which means they were going to meet, you know, the Kelsey friends and family, aka Taylor Swift. And they were just like, you know, so nervous. They were like, we cannot be hungover the night before. We have to be on our A game. That all went out the window. They were out celebrating. But they were like, you know, thinking through the logical things you would think of when you know you are going to be encountering the literal most famous person. Do I shake her hand? Like, do I approach her? Like, can I even make eye contact? Like, these are the things that are going through their head. And it was so cute because Travis was like, you know, Taylor is a pro. She knows how to break the ice, and he was just so complimentary of her. But it was adorable because the interns were like, Taylor came up to us and were like, "Oh my god, finally meeting you," and like, you know, called them by name,
Aw.
and you know, it was really sweet because me selfishly making everything about me. I have been told and like, you know, giving compliments and like, you know, I would say honestly a majority of my past relationships being like, you know, Taylor, we can put you in the room with anyone that you've never met before, all walks of life, and we don't have to
I
worry about you. Like
I
you can
thought you were
hold your
gonna say
own.
everyone calls me Taylor Swift.
That too. But it was like so validating because it's like, oh my god, Taylor and I have a
Okay, so
similar
you were
trait.
gonna
Like I am an
insinuate that you are Taylor Swift.
icebreaker. Facts. But like we have that similar trait and I think it's such a good trait to have. And you always like I love to be that person. I love to make someone feel comfortable if they're in like a new space or a new room. And it was just, I don't know, it was really cute. And so yeah, they talked about how we had like a long conversation with Taylor. She was really complimentary of the podcast and
Aw.
like the creative direction. They were like, what a compliment from like, you know, someone who is so on that creative caliber to like give us a compliment. But it proves, like Travis said, like, yeah, she listens every week.
Aw.
Like, Sam, Taylor listens to the New Heights podcast, which means she understands the podcast medium, which means like there's a world in which we continue to grow and make this podcast, and Taylor could literally discover our podcast. I just like had to bring that up. So
Love.
Yeah, it was really sweet. But yeah, I guess let's talk really quick to maybe
Sure.
wrap things up of like what are some of our Super Bowl predictions? You're going for the
I
Eagles.
am going for the
I'm like
Eagles.
going for the Chiefs, but like I don't feel like how do we feel about how Taylor's gonna play?
How
Who do we
Taylor's
think
gonna
some of
play?
her guests are gonna how yes, this is her Super Bowl too. How
No.
is she gonna play in the
What
in
outfit is
this
she gonna
seat?
wear
Is
on the
she
red
gonna,
carpet?
yes, like what do we think of the halftime
Oh
performance?
yeah, with
Kendrick, like
SZA.
is he gonna shit on Drake with
SZA.
SZA? Like, what do you have
Okay. I just want
any
to
ideas?
defend. I am a bandwagon fan from 3 years ago. Okay. I love Jalen
That's okay.
Hurts. I don't know if you know this. His entire team is female led. I
I do.
love
Yeah,
that.
I learned that like
I love him so
recently.
much. And I saw a
Yeah.
podcast a while ago that he donates a lot of his money to his local community, which I think he's just such a good
Yeah.
person. And then Josh dropped the lore for him because this is so bad. I literally, Abercrombie and Fitch were having a sale and it was on like
Uh-huh.
like football jerseys and whatever, their sweaters. No, I
Did you get
literally
Eagles
turned to
one?
Josh and I was like, oh my God, let's choose a team. That's how we want to support. I
Okay, can we
literally
normalize bandwagoning and just following a team? Like,
said, let's choose a
come
team
on, that's
and just like
okay.
really stick to it. And I was like, okay, maybe the Cowboys, because I did grow up a Cowboys fan, but I have like the Eagles, and it's more of just like Jalen Hurts. I think he's just a great person, but
Yeah, that's why people become such fans of teams. Is like usually like just one
yes. But
person
I
that they
am
gravitate
excited for
towards.
Kendrick and SZA. I think it's going to be a really good halftime show, but I am sad because the
Yeah.
leaked set list is all of his newer music, which I don't,
Oh, I
but
didn't know
that's the leaked
that.
one. And when this releases, who knows
Yeah.
what actually happened, but I
Right.
loved his older stuff. So
I'm
no,
excited for I love his older stuff. I saw him at ACL here 2
oh
years
yeah,
ago. It was the one where he came like super late weekend one, but it was still an incredible show. I'm excited to see him coming off the back of like winning 2
yeah,
Grammys. I'm excited to see because like I I also love the not the openers, but you know who sing, you know, like Star Spangled Banner, like America the Beautiful. Like I'm excited for those performances as
yeah.
well. And I think the halftime, you know, I go back and I hyperfixate watching Chris Stapleton's, Super Bowl, the Star Spangled Banner, and that was the year
Oh my
Rihanna's
God, my
halftime. And like, I watch it at least twice a quarter. Like, I'm not even kidding. I'm so obsessed with that year of performances, and I feel like this year has a chance of getting up there.
yes,
Kendrick's just like a fantastic performer. So, yeah, all that to say, I'm hosting. Sam will be
yes.
over in a couple of hours here, and go Chiefs, go Eagles, but more
Go Taylor.
importantly, go Taylor.
All right.
Okay,
All
all
that
that to
to
say,
say,
thanks for
bye.
listening. Bye.